festival for the rest of us. I don't. What's that?
The Festivus for the rest of
Yes,
us.
what is
It's
it?
a major holiday that was derived from an episode of Seinfeld where George's father.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
Get ready, y'all. We about to Bobby Boucher you. Bam!
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce.
You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast, featuring Odisir Special Sauce Pinto.
I was a mean kid.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Don the Train Watson.
Never slap a man in the face chewing tobacco.
Joey the Riot Terrier.
Cochon de lait will make you smack your lips and anyone getting too close to your plate.
Luke Beerslinger Berry.
I know there's a certain look that I'm trying to go for.
And Chip Shegman Carlisle. And now broadcasting alive is the Knives Templars, coming to you live from Pork House Studios located in Hartselle, Alabama, and other U.S. locations. This is the Knives Templars podcast. We are the coolest knife-making podcast on the planet, and we are downloaded around this big blue marble in over 24 countries. We are on air, on demand, and heard worldwide in all of your favorite apps and at knivestemplars.com. Oh, ho, ho! Welcome to the Knives Templars. You got Chip Carlisle here. This is our Christmas edition. I am the host of Knives Templars, and I tell you what, we are the number one funny and family wholesome knife-making podcast out there. Hey, we've got a great group with us tonight. We got Mark Vasillo sitting in for Luke Berry, and Mark is a Templar. It's been on a past show. We got Don the Train Watson and Odisir Pinto, and I was hoping that Eric Rivers was going to be here, but he's up in Texas, and I hear it's quite cold, and I hadn't heard from him in a couple days, so I have a feeling he was probably out filming Shop Talk Tuesday and is probably frozen to his to his anvil. Probably looks a lot like Jack Nicholson in The Shining when he was frozen there at the end. Let's hope not. Let's hope they're warm and they've got power, because I know that everybody in America right now, I'm from Michigan. Odisir, you're from Maryland. It's just cold. It'll pass in a day. The good news is it'll be 60 degrees here next week.
Yeah, well, I don't think I will see any 60s for a long time.
No, not up in Maryland, but Alabama. I'm going to go deer hunting on probably Wednesday, Thursday. And I was like all excited that it's getting cold. And now all of a sudden we come to find out that it's going to warm back up. So I've got to take coolers down to make meat lockers out of them.
Have you bagged anything yet?
No, I got last time I was supposed to go, it rained crazy.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so this is my next opportunity to go down, which is like 10 days later. And so I'll be going this week for sure, and I'm looking forward to it.
What is your goal?
Hopefully I will bag something. What's my goal?
Meat?
Just going,
trophy?
Neither one. Is to go out in the woods and just enjoy myself. The other two are just a bonus. It's kind of like my fishing was. You went fishing to get away from it all. You went fishing to get, regain your sanity.
No.
Same thing here.
I went
Catching the
fishing
fish
to
is just a
catch fish.
bonus. Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
ate them too.
Yeah, everybody's everybody's got their mission and what they're out there for. But I don't see anything wrong with that at all. As a matter of fact, sometimes I would catch fish. I would give them away to people that I knew would eat them. But I ate fish also. But I just catching the fish is just the bonus of it. The rest of it's just being out there one with nature and enjoying life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Well, I got you, Eros here. What have you been up to, man?
Who, me?
Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Yeah, what have you been up
to? Merry Christmas. Just working on some little bit of leather. I gotta get my my sheath and my leather work up a bit, and I think I found a good rhythm and came up with a simple yet elegant design for those knives that I made, those little sheaths.
Right.
So I'm pretty happy with that. So I've been working with leather on apart from the heavy point for this season is that my son is home for Christmas
Heck yeah. All right.
from basic. So
Yeah, I
I'm
saw that
pretty happy.
picture.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He is turned in quite
Yeah.
the soldier, quite the man. I was impressed with that
Oh,
picture.
yeah.
Yep.
Not that he wasn't a good looking fella, an upstanding guy before, but I mean, there's something a polished edge about a military guy
Yep.
that gives us all something to live up to, because they are really something
Yeah,
else.
man. No,
Thank you, Mark.
I'm
I know
pretty
you're an
happy. I'm
ex-military
pretty
guy.
happy he's home.
Yeah.
Glad.
Yeah, he's going to remember this stuff for the rest of his life. This is an awesome time for him.
Yeah. He came. He already telling a whole bunch of stories about the basic and the friends he's making, and all the things that they go through. It's something else.
Yeah. How's the wife? Is she keeping you in line? Got you all lined up for Christmas? Having to help decorate and all that good stuff?
Who, you still talking to me?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Oh,
well, we live in a small apartment, so we don't have a whole lot of room to put decorations and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're getting ready to go and have a good Christmas Eve at one of her cousins' home in West Virginia tomorrow night. So
West Virginia.
we're going there instead of having anything here at home.
Yeah. How far are you from West Virginia? A couple hours?
A good hour drive, not too
Oh,
far.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, about an hour. About an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The right answer to that was, how's your wife doing? Is she, keeping you busy, putting up? You're supposed to be like me. It's like, no, I set up the tree and the rest of it is hers.
Well, I don't, my tree is like this big.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Are you talking about your actual tree or something else?
No, my actual tree.
Oh, okay. Because that's little. That's little. That's it. That's little even for something else. So,
Oh, dirty mind you, huh?
No, not too bad. Not too bad. I was talking about your nose. But anyway, where would you taking this? I'm blessed to have you here this close to Christmas.
Yeah, man.
It's been a good year being your
good.
friend. Hey,
Good to be here.
Disco Don Watson, what's up? I know you did the disco year of that era.
hey, man, what's going on, guys?
Oh, it's Don the Train, not Disco Don.
No.
Did you ever get called Disco Don in the 70s?
No, Don Juan.
Don Juan.
That's right.
Well,
Nice.
all right.
Well, how big is your Christmas tree?
Big as they need.
All
I like a
right.
big trees. I like a big tree. If you're gonna
Like
put a
big
tree
trees
up,
and-
get it up high. You know what I'm saying? Go
You
ahead.
got a big tree, you
Get
cannot
big.
lie.
That's right.
Hey, what have you been up to? Before you say that, I want to tell the whole world, because we're heard in over 26 countries. Don, you made me the most beautiful peppermill. And I've told you before the podcast just all the trouble I've had with peppermills over the year.
Yep.
And when I filled this one up and I turned the knob on the top and I saw that peppermill fall, as beautiful as any pepperite, it was like a beautiful black snowstorm just coming down on my Christmas ham. We ate ham early with some friends tonight, and I was just like, told my wife, I'm like, see, that's how they're supposed to work.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
you, Don.
All right.
You're welcome,
Don's
man.
handmade knives and peppermills, man, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
What's been going on?
Been stabilizing this week. I got some pecan. I did some
Is
real pretty
Is it
spalted
pecan
hackberry.
or pecans?
Pecan. My mom used to say pecan. I got some pecan pie here for you, son.
Well, let me ask you this: is it bluegill or is it
Bream?
brown? Is it crappie or crappie?
We don't have
Crappie.
that down here.
what?
Crappie. We have bluegill, shell cracker.
Well, crappie comes
Oh,
out
knock-
your rear end. Crappie's a fish.
Crappie.
No, it was bluegill, baby.
Crappie comes out of a lot of people's mouths these days
Yeah.
on social
Yeah.
media.
No, it was bluegill. Stump knockers.
Shell cracker.
Shell cracker.
Red ears.
We never caught too many crappies down here. A crappie. We called them
Didn't work.
They would call them crappies, but they're crappie.
Yeah, you didn't work near a wastewater treatment plant. You never want to work fish downstream from the discharge
No.
there, I guess.
No, you
So,
don't.
during a flood. Other than that, they're pretty clean. So, hey, what else you got going on? Any new equipment or anything? You said you've been doing. I've seen that spalted pecan, and it's beautiful. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk to you in the new year about helping me get set up,
Yeah,
stabilizing some wood.
Sure.
Otis
Yeah, I
here
did.
put down the challenge to me about 10 episodes ago, and I'm gonna turn into the king of man. That's beautiful. He's
Yeah, that's
holding a
nice.
piece of that spalted pecan for us.
Yeah, that's I
Wow.
call it gold back or gold pecan. It's not the black like this is.
Yeah.
You see the difference in this right here.
Oh, that
Uh-huh.
second one is awesome, man. Look at it.
Yeah. What did you make the second one too?
Yeah, they're all blocked. They're all
Yeah,
ready
but the
to
one
go.
with all the black in it. How did you get all the black in it? Is that the natural wood, or did
That's
you
the
dye it?
natural spalting of the wood. It's the decaying of the
wow.
wood. Yeah, and
Yeah. I hope everybody out there in podcast land loves what they're seeing right now. But
beautiful.
trust me, it's so beautiful. We're talking about what it looks like.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I saw Andy Roy over at Fiddleback Forge was cutting up some 100-year-old Osage fence post, and he had posted out there online. And Mr. Roy, if you're listening, or if not, maybe McKenna can turn you onto it. That was some beautiful wood. That's like I said, I think he said it's some 100-year-old fence posts that someone had given him or he's had around, and he cut it up, and it was just gorgeous inside. So I'm sure that'll turn out well. What kind of equipment are you using as far as your stabilizing?
I use a 5-gallon pot with a 3 CFM pump.
Yeah.
Once I use cactus juice. That's probably the best out there is cactus juice. I started using cactus juice when Curtis Seebeck's just started putting it out there. He invented that formula. But so I use that, and then when I'm done pulling the vacuum on it, it usually takes this right here. They're 1.5-inch blocks. And they're 5-inch. I thought about Pinto when I was cutting it on the bandsaw. I said, I'm going to have to cut some of these because he said the other day.
Yeah, I want some.
He had to have some. It's 1.25 3/8 by 5 by 2 inches. So that's what I cut them at. So, you know.
Yeah,
so,
let's talk about it afterwards.
We'll have to do
buy
that.
it
We'll
from
talk. Okay.
Yep.
I did like 21 pieces, and it took a little over a gallon.
Yeah.
Of cactus juice, and and you figure, I enjoy doing that because you can take a piece of wood like that that's you couldn't turn it on a lathe because it just crumble.
Yeah.
You really can't do much with it, but if you stabilize it right, it's like I told my friend today, he goes, "How they turn out?" And I said, "I can bust your windshield out with it." It's twice the weight. That's how you know you did a good job. If I weighed this thing, it was like 5 ounces. And it's 11 ounces now, so it's over doubled its weight. So right there, it had a good, solid, stabilization. But
how long is
then
the process of stabilizing?
Well, it took these right here. I let them run in the pump about 14 hours.
Vacuum or pressure?
Yeah, vacuum. Okay. I vacuumed them for about 14 hours. Once the bubbles stopped coming out. And then I dropped them in. I put them right in my 5-gallon pressure pot. I have a 5-gallon pressure pot, and I put them under 70.
Vacuum and pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I put it in there because you're going to soak them anyway. And then I put them in the chamber and the pressure pot, and I pumped it up to 70 pounds. I let it sit on it about, I guess, 24 hours.
But why do a vacuum and then goes to the pressure?
I think the pressure, what it does, I can't remember the number. When you've got it under 70 pounds of pressure, there's another, I can't figure out the number, but it helps just get it in a little deeper. Helps it get that fluid in deeper. Just keeps it pressured instead of just letting it soak.
Okay, this is before cooking it, right?
Yes, and then once they've been in the pressure pot for 24 hours, then I pull it out, let it drain off, and then I wrap it up, put it in Mama's oven, cook it for about 5 hours.
Hey, friendo. Hey, so here is my question for you, Don. What the equipment you're using now? They always say that you have to be careful. It could be dangerous when you're stabilizing equipment. What's dangerous about it as far as the pressure or whatever goes? I mean, it's not like it's an overpressure where it would explode. You're pumping down to a vacuum. What is dangerous about it?
I don't know. I don't know what the danger is. I've been doing it for probably 12 years and never had no issue.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any problem, but I would do this. I don't let anything run in my shop, like a pump or anything running overnight in my shop. What I do if I do have to run it like that, I take and shut it down, release air back into the chamber.
Yeah.
And then turn it off. Next morning when I get up, I run the pump again, and it'll pull all that out and redo it. Start over again, and it don't hurt it. It's better. And because you don't never know if a pump's going to blow a rod and burn up.
Right.
So I don't leave it in the shop running overnight.
That's a
I'm
that's a
that
good
way
idea.
about.
Yeah,
I'm that way.
because I watched a couple of YouTubes, and they were saying, oh, you bring the vacuum up, and then you turn off the pump and just hold the vacuum for whatever long.
No, you got to run the pump. You have to run the pump.
So you running the pump for those entire 14
Yes.
hours?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be an estimated investment cost for getting into something like that?
Probably,
just for equipment.
If you get a good pump, which I got a Robinair pump, probably one of the better ones out there. I mean, you can go up to about $400 on a pump. This one here run about $139. And then a good, I would go with a 5-gallon pot.
Yeah.
With a glass lid.
Mm-hmm.
Go with a glass lid. They call it a Pyrex lid, but you're looking at probably about just the pump and everything alone. You're looking at probably about $350.
So less than $400 you can be.
Let's just say $400. Then you got about $400.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a cow pasture next door. I wanted to go out and make some cow chip knife handles and stabilize them. Hey, it's organic. It's organic. I told you guys I'm into organic knives. No, but I think that's going to be my thing for the new year. Wouldn't that be cool? I may have to do that. Find a nice dried out one and turn it into just a shits and giggles. Excuse my language. Knife handle.
Do you cut your own wood? Do you dry your own wood before you start stabilizing?
Yes.
Because I know you gotta bring the humidity level down to very low. What is the lowest you can?
You try to get it to zero when you're stabilizing. I know James is on here. He stabilizes, but I remember when I first started, Curtis Seebeck really helped me. And he told me there's 3 important things. Number 1, the wood has to be bone dry. He said a moisture meter will not do you no good because the moisture meter only goes down to about 5 or 7. So get rid of that. And he said put it in the oven, bake it at 220 degrees for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. Depends on the wood.
Okay.
And you got to let it cook all overnight. And then you bring it out. You got to wrap it tight. Got to get it out of the air, wrap it tight, let it cool down. And then once it cools down, then you can put it into the cactus juice. If you put it in there hot, it'll set up. It won't do no good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because it activates probably around 90 degrees, about 90 degrees.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it takes 200 degrees to activate it. But just to be safe, it'll crystallize on you just like that. So you have to you got to dry the wood, and another important thing is you got to pull your vacuum and let it be patient with that. And then he said the absolute important thing is you've got to let it soak. If you pull a vacuum for 10 hours, he said let it soak for 24. It will not hurt it. So
gotcha.
Well, that's the important things.
Well, Marky Mark Pasalo.
Hey.
How are you, sir? You're filling in for Eric, and Luke, and Joey tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, you're the trifecta. You're the hat trick. You are the man. You know what a hat trick is, Mark?
I do. I've played hockey in high school.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we just became bigger friends. Now, just tell me you were a Red Wings fan.
Ooh, I was in New Jersey.
Yeah. We're at New Jersey.
Yeah, that's where I was born, New Jersey. So
well, we're still 80% friends, but you get a 2% deduction or 20% deduction for being a Jersey's fan. If you had said I can't think of another team out there. You just 20% deduction. I may have given you only 10% deduction.
It was either the Devils or the Rangers out there. That was the 2 options that folks root for.
Yeah, I may have only given you a 10% reduction if it had been like a original 8 team, but I don't know. New Jersey fan. You know Joe Kosler? You ever heard of Joe Kosler? One of the Bruce brothers?
No.
He was Joey was
What?
one of the Bruce brothers,
Oh.
and he played for Detroit. He played for the New York Rangers, and most of his career was with Detroit. He played with the New York Rangers, and he also played with Chicago. He and Bob Probert were known the two Bruce brothers. And I became friends with Joe when I lived in Detroit, and would be able to attend some hockey games with him on a fairly regular basis during season. And we had some mutual acquaintances is how we met. And I was up in the box with him one night, and he had on Stanley Cup ring, and I said, Joe, I said, I want to get hit by one of the Bruce brothers. Give it to me in the arm. Come on, just give it to me right here in the shoulder. And he was like, no. And I finally bugged him enough about it, and probably had enough Labatt's, which is what you drink up in Michigan if you want to. That's their version of cheap, good hockey beer. And he let me have one in the shoulder with that Stanley Cup ring, and I can say I am proud that I got hit by a professional hockey player with Hulk-sized hands, but I'll never do it again.
No.
Because he didn't even wind up. He just unloaded. It was like the 5-finger death something.
That's right.
One of them
from
Bruce
Kill
Lee
Bill. Yeah. But it was
Bruce
just
Lee.
like, it was like a 2-inch, but it launched me across that room. But what have you been up to? What have you been up to since you've been back on?
Well,
Or been on last?
yeah. It so I besides for working, I've been I finished up that one knife with the red G10 pins that I put
Yeah,
there.
look beautiful.
Yep.
What a grind. I mean, I asked if you had used a jig, and you were like, you hand ground, and then I disliked you 10% more. So I only like you 70% now.
I started using like my first one or two. I started using. I cut a piece of angle iron, and I had some screws in there, and tapped them, and made my own little jig. And I did a couple, like 2 of those, and I was like, well, let me see how this works. And every time you do one, it just gets better. It seems like if you just more practice.
Oh, yeah. I can comfortably go in and hand grind a knife now. You have beautiful lines on that particular knife, so I brought
Thank
that
you.
up. But so I, have got a Origin Blade Maker jig, the small one and the large one. And I bought the large one first, and I went out and bought the smaller one because I realized it's easier to work with. And then I started to hand grind because Eric Rivers convinced us all through the Rivers experience that we could do it, or not all, maybe not you guys, certainly me. And then, in 2 days, there's a great event. Day after tomorrow, there's something under my tree right now, Don Watson.
Watch out now.
I'm going to be opening up that slanted table with that
table.
new platen that I can go out and do that 55 degrees, rotate my platen back, and then go in and set my bevel on the table and just drag them across the table. And I know that you have to do that with some skill and learn as you go. But
you want a tip? You want a tip on that?
Just a tip.
Templar's tip? Is it a Templar's tip? That's what I want to hear.
Templar's tip for you, brother.
Templar's tip.
I'm a Templar. I am a Templar. When you go to grind, when you go to do that, once you finish up you're going back after heat treat.
Yes, sir.
Put painter's tape on your.
Yes, sir.
On that, not on the knife, on the platen or the tool rest itself.
On the tool. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. Yeah.
And it won't scratch that blade out.
Yeah, I was going to do the knife, but you're saying the tilt table is actually not a bad idea because number one, you want to keep all of that, all those scratches down so you don't have to sand them out and keep those nice crisp lines. I was talking about Mark's knife, crisp lines.
Beautiful.
Thank you for that tip.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So Mark, have you put anybody in a headlock or a 5-finger death punch or anything?
No. I've been, I've been doing a little training on my own, but haven't found someplace out here yet.
So you do Taekwondo, right?
I do. I've been doing Taekwondo, and then I started doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu before I left Texas, but yeah. So
can I see your forearms?
One thing I never mentioned.
Hold your forearms up for us.
My forearms?
Yeah. No, he's not.
Oh yeah,
He's
no,
not.
I don't have the. I haven't picked up the kettle with my with my forearm. So
I've been watching a lot of. I've been watching a ton of Kung Fu
yeah,
Hua Chang King here lately. I don't know why, but um, anyway. So now I know you're not a priest,
that's right.
but I still wouldn't pick a fight with you. Oh,
So,
sir, I cut
Mark,
you off.
yeah,
What were you gonna say?
one thing I never mentioned. My son, I think he's a second degree black belt in Taekwondo.
That's awesome.
Oh
Ooh,
wow.
okay.
Yeah,
Hey, all
he's
right.
been doing it since he was a itty bitty peewee, and a few
No,
years
that's
back he got his black belt, and afterwards kept on going. He got his first degree, and I think I'm not sure. I gotta check his stuff in there, but I think he's a second degree now.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good discipline.
It's more about
Good discipline.
and I think it's more about the lifestyle, which will really, he's going to be head and shoulders above a lot of his peers in the military just because he has that mindset that he's
Dis-
learned through
Discipline.
discipline
Mhm.
and
Yep.
training in martial arts. So it's just going to be another step up for him to.
Yeah, yeah.
If we ever go to war with China, you'll have no worries.
Well, war right now is just push a button and done.
Mm.
Yeah, we're not going to war.
No.
I was just talking about his skill set. But hey, that's the things we learn on this podcast. Now, what do we have yet to learn about you, Odysseer?
Uh, I don't know.
Well, we'll talk about it later because I heard that you sold all of your pinto sauce for $25,000 or $20,000.
20,
So,
20.
yeah, 20. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Mark, you want to hear what's on the menu for
I
tonight?
would love to.
All right. So, tonight I've got a very nice brew review. I'll tell you about it in a minute. We've got some news out of Phoenix, Arizona. And I don't know if I need to talk about Bigfoot all that much on a knife making podcast, but hey,
Yeah, it's fun.
there is a Christmas related story regarding Bigfoot out there, and we got some listener feedback. We've got the Knives Templars Playhouse Theater.
Oh,
We're debuting
all
that
right.
here tonight, and we'll see once we get through that if there's anything bothering Pinto, so he can eat some nails and pass some barbed wire, and then I've got a couple opportunities for some discussions and some questions if you have time. But with all that being said, why don't we jump into the brew review? You guys ready?
Yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah, let's do it, babe.
All right, here we go. Hey guys, what was your source of inspiration when you first decided to make knives? Many go to the books and also some go to the web, but many also head to YouTube for videos. Well, we are fortunate enough to have Eric Rivers from the Rivers Experience as a co-host on the Knives Templars. But you know what? He's also a sponsor, and I tell you, 27,000 followers can't be wrong in following his skilled and educational regular videos that teach the fine arts of making beautiful knives. I know because I'm a subscriber to his channel and I learned at my pace and without making those mistakes by walking in the dark regarding knife making. Be sure and check out his channel, The Rivers Experience, on YouTube or his website at theriversexperience.com. And now back to our show. All right, well, welcome back. Hey, this week's brew review is near and dear to every beer drinking elf's heart. Man, do I have a special one tonight. I picked up a can of Santa, ! I know him, ! That's the beer name.
Oh,
Santa, I know him. Let me tell you about this beer, guys. It's a complex Belgian ale that kisses Santa Claus. Our holiday season is brewed with rose hips, chamomile, black currants, and dark candy syrup. Complex and intriguing, this Belgian style is the one who broke Dad's leg lamp. So I had to take a drink of this, guys. That's what they had to say about it. And I did enjoy the Santa Claus on the beer. And it tasted good. But let me tell you, it poured pretty dark copper color. Had a nice look to it. And it was kind of a rocky-like tan head on it. So I'm going to tell you where I'm headed with this. is a dark beer. It's one of my favorites. Had kind of a honey, ginger, cinnamon, and bready, malty taste. And the taste that follows the smell is very balanced. It's between malt and spices, and has a near perfect balance. I mean, it wasn't one of those where you walk away and go, well, I can't get the grapefruit out of my mouth. It just all mixed together just perfectly. So it was luxurious, smooth, and it filled my palate full of flavor. But overall, I want you to know this is an excellent brew. It smells great, and I'm not one to pick up spiced beers, but the subtle balance and the feel of this when you drank it was a winner. And it's soon to be an annual tradition at the Carlisle household as I have my 21 days of Christmas with a special beer each day during the holiday season. So, guys, if you can find it, go out and find Santa. I know him. It's a nice beer. I give it 5 ho 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 ho's and 5 hops. Go out and find you one. Anybody want to hear some news?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
All right. Well, I will tell you this. Speaking of that corona you're holding there, Otis here, I think I've had COVID for the last 10 days. But you know what they say about COVID? If you don't get tested, you don't have COVID.
As the true state.
Actually, I did take a test a couple days in, and it tested negative, so I didn't go out and retest or anything after that. But man, it's knocked me on my butt. So if you hear me clacking on cough drops or clearing my throat a little bit, I'm getting through it. But this week's news, or this show's news, says here, the Grinch came early for an Arizona driver who tried to pass off an inflatable figure of the Dr. Seuss character as a passenger in his car. It says the Arizona Department of Public Safety says state trooper last week noticed a car in a high occupancy vehicle lane on Interstate 10 in Phoenix with a suspicious looking green passenger. Suspicious. While the gag may have caused the officer's heart to grow 10 times, it did not stop the driver from getting cited for being in a high occupancy vehicle lane during the restricted time. The agency, however, could not help but post a photo of the Grinch figure with the driver's face blurred on their Twitter account.
Man.
Officials say they appreciate the festive flair, but that driver's actions was still illegal. And he got a ticket.
Man, it happens a lot. Even here in Maryland, we have those HOV lanes, and every now and then somebody's going to get caught with a mannequin or something on his passenger seat.
I've seen that before. I'm like, that's not a human being. Story number 2. No knife news tonight, but we've got, hey, you know, the knife news out there, all they ever want, if it bleeds, it reads, and that's all news in general. People want to hear the terrible stuff in the world.
Yeah,
I like to hear the good news. Even the story, even though it's breaking the law with a Grinch, it's still funny news. So we'll promote the good knife news, but I don't want to hear about somebody chasing someone down the street with a steak knife in a fit of rage. That's not knife news. That's just crazy. Story number 2. A Pennsylvania family, I hope this is appropriate, guys, is cutting a Christmas tree in Tioga County, Pennsylvania, when they experienced tree branches being thrown at them. As they are leaving, a driver flags them down and says, "I just saw Bigfoot."
Oh.
On December 2nd, 2022. And guys, that's my birthday. So correlation, my love of Bigfoot, my birthday, he shows up on that day. I don't know. My family went out to cut down a Christmas tree. We were about 20 to 30 miles from home, way out in the middle of nowhere in Tioga, Tioga, Tioga County, Pennsylvania. When we found a suitable tree, we stopped and cut it. We got the tree on the ground, and my dad is cleaning up some branches from the bottom when my mom gets the great idea to throw a rock into the woods next to the car. Those mothers. After several rocks, she was throwing rocks. My mom was done throwing things when out of nowhere, a decent-sized tree branch lands on the roof of the car. The branch was bigger around than our tree, which was a problem because our tree was amongst the biggest and tallest in the area. As the time I brushed it off and my dad being silly, but since I didn't hear him sawing anymore, I was wondering. We pulled the branch off the car and I went to take a leak while my dad tied everything down. While walking down the hill about 10 feet, I found a suitable bush where on the way down something got spooked from around the spot and took off to my right. I figured I'd come across a deer or something, so I went down to where it had been to look for tracks and so I could identify the animal. I got down there and I couldn't find much except some trampled grass and broken branches where the animal had busted through the underbrush. The grass was pretty thick, so I wasn't too upset about being able to find anything. I returned to my chosen bush to take my leak. Did my thing, but as I was trying to climb back up the hill where I had come down, I was slipping because of the mud. Hopefully it's not because of his leak. Don't ever tinkle uphill, guys. Yeah. I was slightly miffed. It was about 20 degrees and about a 15-mile-per-hour wind. I left my coat up top since I hadn't expected to be down there that long. As I'm walking along the side of the hill where it got a little brushier, my mom yelled, "Quit throwing rocks!" "You've hit my window twice," I yelled back. That I wasn't throwing any rock and kept going, thinking that my sister was just being silly and carrying on with the Bigfoot thing. As I was reaching the patch of brush I was going to climb, I came across what looked like a human footprint, but without shoes in the mud, out in the middle of winter. I came across what looked like a human footprint. It was about 14 inches long, and it had hair imprinted on it. So, moral of the story there is don't ever get a pet Bigfoot. I hear they shed.
There you go.
Good to know. Templar tip.
Templar tip. Don't get a pet Bigfoot as a pet unless you shave him first. At first, I thought it was a bear, but the bears around here don't get much more than 150, 200 pounds, and even a big one only has 7-inch feet. It's a long story. Got a lot to tell. As I'm examining the track, I heard something fly over me. I looked up in time to see a branch landing on the top of the hill, which is only a little way up now. I then looked down the direction it came from, and just as something was retreating down the hill in the brush, I just caught a glimpse of it, but I noticed that it was bipedal, big, tall, and hairy. I freaked out, and I made it to the top of the hill in seconds. I got back to the car, totally out of breath, despite it only being 20 yards, and hopped in. My dad was just getting in as I ran up, and everyone else was already up. They asked me what was wrong, and I said, "I don't know, but something down there is throwing things at us. Let's go." My parents looked at each other, and for once, there is always a real explanation, so let's go find it. Father didn't hesitate to leave. This is what made me a believer in Bigfoot. About 2 miles down the road, a pickup comes flying up behind us and won't back off. We pulled over on the wide spot, but instead of passing, the truck pulls out next to us, and the driver rolled down the window. It turned out to be a guy my dad knew. He was terrified and said, "Get your rear end out of here. I just saw a Bigfoot." We followed him to the main road, and we stopped and asked him where he had seen this Bigfoot. He said he had seen someone had been cutting up trees up there, probably for Christmas, and that thing had been standing on the side of the road. The end.
Good story. I like that.
All right, well let's take a vote on this because that is actual news. I grabbed that off of the AP or somewhere this week. I want to believe in Bigfoot, but I'm telling you what, this story's full of holes. What are you thinking, Mark? Found someone his dad knew out in the middle of nowhere. Just saw a Bigfoot where someone had been cutting trees. Well, they were up there where they'd been cutting trees, and
yeah.
I'm calling on this one. Okay, Otis here, nothing.
I ain't got nothing.
Man, you saw the Black Panther in the woods. We don't doubt that.
Well, but this is the first hand accounting I saw the thing.
Yes, exactly. Your story was believable. There's just too much to come together. Mom's throwing rocks off in the distance. Mm-hmm. Mom's never off throwing rocks in the distance. She's up there giving everybody orders.
That's right.
Well, I've seen enough horror movies to maybe, see something like that being possible. I don't know. You ever see that movie, A Cabin in the Woods, or The Hills Have
Yeah.
Oh
Eyes?
yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Okay,
So the hills have eyes. So what you're saying, it was Ernest T. Bass down there throwing
it
rocks, going, "I am Ernest T.
could be,
Bass."
Deliverance. Deliverance.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. I have a hard time with this particular Bigfoot story, but you're the one going to West Virginia this weekend, so you can give us a deliverance story next time
There
you're
you go.
back.
No,
Dun,
no,
dun,
no,
dun,
no,
dun,
no,
dun,
no, no,
dun,
no,
dun,
no, no, no,
dun.
no, 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 no.
How about some listener feedback? I've got some for us. Man, it's cool. I'm getting like these DMs and stuff where people are sending me information on the shows and they're posting links to our show
Awesome.
out on
That's
their
good.
website pages or not their Facebook pages and such. I'm
Awesome.
enjoying it. Kurt emailed me this week, and maybe I can use last names. I haven't been using them. I don't know if it's okay or not. I'll have to check on that, but I will use first names here. Kurt said, "Hey, man, Templars is like my morning coffee, and my morning drive isn't complete without it. It makes me a nicer person."
Hey,
Ooh.
all right.
Okay. That's
Thank you very
nice.
much.
Nice. Thanks, man.
That's actually that's a nice comment.
Well done.
Nice comment. I certainly understand the coffee side of it for sure. So we're growing, guys. It's good. Mark, what are you getting for Christmas?
Ooh, I don't know. I've I had a couple things in the Amazon cart that couple knife tools and things out there. So
Speaking of that, you got a knife review for us?
a knife review.
A knife product review?
Oh, I guess I should have come with one. Oh yeah, I guess I could. This is a product. Well, I wasn't a good review.
I'm teeing you up.
I
I'm
see
teeing
that.
you up.
And so I thought you were talking about something that works well for me.
Well, we need to talk about it all so everybody is well informed on the products that are out there and what they can expect. And not that sometimes products may have a quality or design flaw or whoever knows, but I also want to point out that we always give companies the opportunity to correct anything or certainly recognize them when they produce something just perfect, like our buddies over at Ameribraid. So we'll be right back, and Mark can tell us about his product.
Hey listeners, let's take a moment today to thank one of our sponsors for today's show, and that sponsor is Ameribraid Grinders. Eric and Kevin over at Ameribraid have sold thousands of these grinders, and they are super nice guys, and their customer service is excellent. I would know. I've been personally using their 2x72 grinder now for 2 years, and it has changed my knife making to a whole new level. So if you're in the market for or looking to upgrade from that 1x30 or 2x42, then give Ameribraid a look. There you'll find they have 3 packages of grinders to offer. They have a mastery package, a foundations package, and a get grinding package, in which all of them come at different price points. So I'm sure you'll find something that'll suit your needs as a knife maker. Also, Ameribraid has a ton of innovative attachments for their grinders. So listeners, you can find out about all of this at www.ameribraid.com. Go give them a look, see what they have to offer today. And now, back to the show.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Santa Claus is coming.
All right, welcome back. Hey, listen, I can tell you what, I'm looking forward to Christmas morning and my new Ameribraid products. I'm getting a new platen. And what is the proper term for that, Don? Not just the platen, but I'm getting the whole...
It's called a D-plate platen.
There you go. I'm getting a new deep plate platen.
Yeah, I heard it different. I heard it a tilt table.
And a tilt table.
Yeah, you got a tilt table too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to buy them both, and I'm looking forward to that Christmas morning.
Okay.
But anyway, you go out and look for products out on Ameribraid.com, and that deep plate platen and that tilt table will set you up with a new way of grinding. Hey, Mark, we were just chatting when we left for that commercial about any product reviews. What do you got to report to us this time?
I got myself a nice little file guide. I was looking for one that was had a wide surface, so really I can use it to match up my guards and have a good even surface. I see Otis's knives and how there's like zero space. I mean, it's like perfect, on there when he was showing the guard fit up. And so I was looking for something that I can get a little closer to that. And so I bought one of these file guides. It's a TR Maker brand file guide.
Who generally make really
Yeah,
excellent products,
absolutely.
right?
Yes, they
And it's
do.
got the carbide plates on the top, right? So you can skate the files off there and keep it really clean. But so I I filed the knife and got the tang all set up and got the guard ready and put it on, and it wasn't matching up. So I was like, okay. So I put the guard on a little bit further up, refiled it again, try to get a new even surface. So I did this 3 times, and finally I was like, yeah, I'm just not doing it right, and figuring it was a problem. But then I decided I should take a 1-2-3 block and just check the file guide to make sure that it was all level. And come to find out that one of the carbide plates is a little bit tilted off to the right. So as I am filing
I've
this
seen
thing,
that.
it just wasn't filing even to get that done. So I haven't really
Yeah, I've seen that.
called them or sent an email that said that I was having a problem with their product. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt right now. Is that when I talk to them about that they'll I'll see what they can do for that.
Oh,
It
sure,
looks like a
sure.
great product. Again, I bought it just because it had the features that I was looking for. It was wide. It had a wide mouth. I think it's 2 3/4 or 3-inch spot that you can do in there. Knife you can fit in there, and then it had the carbide plates. It was pretty wide. Had a nice wide flat surface. So had all the great features. I just wasn't level.
And and I loved what you had. You can give them opportunity to let them know and how they can
Yeah.
correct the issue for you. But the more important thing here is not to say, because they
Mhm.
make great products, is hey, if something's not working right and you know in your mind that you're doing everything right, you did the right thing. Those 1, 2, 3 blocks are perfect. Go in and check it for trueness, and you found one with a slight fall, unless you happen to buy the 3 degree off. Flat button. The interesting thing is I'm sure that they'll take care of it. But it's good that people that way, if they hear it out there, they know
Yeah.
to look for those kind of things
Yeah,
too.
they're
It may
good
have just
people
been a
over
particular
Chip.
order.
They're good
Oh yeah,
guys
they
over
are.
up there. Yep.
Matter of fact, their guides for their jigs for grinding knives, I love them. I love them.
Yeah, and I
So
would say for
maybe very limited.
any newer knife maker that doesn't have a 1-2-3 block, that is probably
Hmm.
I use that thing constantly for everything, whether it's leveling my work rest or my checking things or drilling. It's every major tool in my shop. I pull that 1-2-3 block or a couple of them that I have out and I use them. So it's a great and inexpensive thing to add to your shop.
Real good.
Well, Mark, with all that being said, that fine review, I don't know if you can hear this now. Let me see here. Check out your phone.
Okay.
All right. Did you see anything come across your phone?
Oop.
Go into
Let's see.
Messenger.
Oh, Messenger.
There it is.
Yeah, we found the guy with the thing.
Yeah.
It's Mark.
What's it say there, Mark?
I don't see anything.
Well, Mark, let me see here. Let me try this again. Have you got your sunglasses on at night? I wear my sun.
Oh,
Hello, Mark.
I see it.
Do you know
What
what
did
you
I
just
just
did,
do?
Mark? That fine review just got you full-fledged membership
Whoa.
into the Templars host group.
All
So
right.
you are still an understudy, but you are our go-to guy. But we have to take a vote because I can kick you
All
right
right.
back out. It's just I brought you in. And we have a quorum because half of us are here. So, Don, what do you say? Is he an understudy host?
I believe so. I think he's do a good job.
Otis here?
Yeah, man.
Mark, you accept this
It's a large
responsibility?
responsibility, but kind of like the Christmas tree, but absolutely.
Well, you'll be upgrading to your Yeti microphone
I
and
will.
your computer hookup here in the near future, and we'll have you on more shows. I enjoyed that review. Thank you so much.
Yeah, do a good
But
job.
now I want to take the opportunity to tell you about a friend of ours, Mr. Oleg over at knife-wood.com. And we were talking about stabilizing handles and this, that, and the other night. And if you don't want to invest that kind of money, or you don't want to invest the years of experience that it takes to make some of the most beautiful blocks of wood in the world, and I say in the world because Oleg produces these blocks over in Russia. He has a warehouse in the Philadelphia area, as well as ships them out of, I think, a place over in the Scandinavian area, or maybe Norway, or excuse me, the Netherlands. But he produces some of the most beautiful stabilized woods. And I want you to go out to knife-wood.com and take a look at his inventory. We have all put some of his wood on our knives, and I will tell you, he has beautiful product, beautiful patterns. And guys, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Go ahead, Don. Let it out.
Oh no, I was watching Pinto when you said he had put a lot of wood on your knives, man.
Hey, welcome to the Knives Templars Winter Stock Port Playhouse. As our first scene opens, we find Odysseus Heisenberg has something on his mind as he is seated at the breakfast table reading this day's news on his iPad when he looks up at his daddy and says,
"So long, Daddy. I'm out of here."
"Where you going, Tiger?"
"I am head to live my best life. I sold my pinto sauce inventory for $20,000 to some fellas who was getting it for their boss."
$20,000. I can pay off all my credit cards and beef jerky credit line at Buc-ee's with that. That jerky is some good stuff.
Nope, Daddy.
Have y'all eat at Buc-ee's?
I'm gonna spend every.
Buc-ee's is some good stuff. Nope, Daddy.
Nope, Daddy. I'm gonna spend every penny of it. I'm getting ready to get an Uber to the airport.
What are you gonna do going to the airport?
I'm going to Arizona.
Arizona? Can't you just drive?
No, Daddy. I'm going there to buy me a shrinky nail grinder, get me a job failing car inspections, and living the dream of becoming a well-known part-time knife maker and model.
Is that going to be a head model? Because it better not be a face model. It's only a face your wife could love. No, okay, model. Okay, back to it. Okay.
What are you going to the airport for? Can't you do that here?
Bye, Daddy. I got to follow my dreams. If you see Mama, tell her goony goo. She will know what it means.
Good luck, son. Well, bye.
Goony goo. The door slams. Odysseus sets off on his new life in Arizona. In part 2, we find Odysseus Heisenberg in a shop where he found a job as an Arizona State vehicle inspector at a business in town called Barney's. It's Christmas time, and the music's playing. In his little room in the shop, he's tending to a knife he is making between car inspections when Barney, the shop owner, calls him over to help.
How are you feeling today? I knew you had some funny fanny after eating too many of them.
Hey, you sound like Daddy. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Come on, Barney.
Okay. How are you feeling today? I knew you had.
What? Now you sound like his daddy. Now you sound like his daddy just went to a Pride Fest. Come on. Do it in your Johnny Cash voice.
Okay, I can't. Okay. How you feeling today? I knew you had funny fanny after eating too many of them jalapeno poppers.
Excuse
down
me?
at Mel's Diner last
What kind of
night.
poppers?
Jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
Oh, them
Read the words, man.
jalapenos. Poppers from down at Mel's Diner last night. You just have to let them pass through that old exhaust pipe. You got to pace yourself, son. They are good, but they set my honey on fire.
Ouch. My bum is on fire, boss.
So as Odysseus is cooling his bum, they walk over to Conrad, who is trying to start a fine-looking 1976 Firebird Formula.
Odysseus, see if you can come figure out what's wrong with this thing, man. It won't crank up, and everything seems to be put together, right?
As Odysseus crouches down into the vehicle with his head in the car, turning the key, the car won't start. He goes around back and removes the gas cap before sticking his finger in the gas pipe. Hey, did y'all know that the gas cap was behind the license plate on a Trans Am?
That's right.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
And then Odysseus looks up from the back of the car. He's looking over that little wing there in the back, and he's holding up the gas cap with a look on his face. And he says,
"This car will not pass. It ain't got no gas in it."
See there? Thinks of the simplest things first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The owner of the Firebird, Tone Loco, he's a black market quenching oil dealer. He's come for his car, and he is glad to see it running. But unbeknownst to the others, it was his devious plan to find Odysseus and force him into servitude to make his crystal clean pinto sauce.
Hey, man, my boys bought your special sauce over in Laurel, Maryland, and you skipped town on me. I have clients that know now that they have to have your quench.
I am done making the sauce. All it ever did was get me arrested. Full moon closes off in a park, forging out of the park grill and howling at the moon. I would come to in a police station in a paper gown and defeated that I had to what?
I think the person who wrote the script was drunk.
That I have.
So what you're basically saying, you got to the police station and you were defeated because you had fallen into the pinto sauce again. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Barney?
He said he's done. Now take your car and vamoose.
I don't think so. Only Tone can tell you when you're done. I have customers, compadre. You drinking my soupy Guadalupe?
I am done. Done.
Not so fast. There are millions to be made in this liquid. It's so addictive. One quench, and they keep coming back. You'll work in my lab, and you'll pay the ultimate price.
Odysseus finds himself trapped. Tone Loco's henchmen step out from the shadows and pick up the pieces of a forged leaf spring that Odysseus has hammered on from rejected cars and move forward in a threatening manner. They grab Barney and they shove him into a small closet. Odysseus remembers back when his daddy just wanted beef jerky and a credit card money. His life rushed before him. Had Dad ever told Mama Goonie Goohoo? All of a sudden, worry caused his adrenaline to rush in, and his colon immediately went into spasm. Those jalapeno peppers and poppers were still live in the magazine of his butt cannon. Odysseus develops an evil grin as he turns 45 degrees to Tone and holds out his arm and says,
"Pull my finger and say hello to my little friend."
Do what, you fool?
Odysseus makes up his mind. The moment is upon us. He takes a quiet breath and holds it, pulls his own finger, and lets loose of the sphincter as he takes a long, deep breath and lets it rip while bearing down with all his might. He hits Tone and the bad guys with a sizzling woof and smokes up the place in a hazy, dark capsaicin cloud.
Welcome to Brownstown, boys. You're in the jungle, baby.
As Tone Loco and the boys lay suffocating on the floor, Odysseus ducks and runs. He grabs Barney from the closet and runs outside.
My time here is done, Barn. I have to hit the road. I can't endanger those around me. I am so mad that I can't eat nails and crap barbed wire.
Great, but who's going to clean up my damn shop? To smell it. Burns, get your smelly out here. Oh, and good luck. Can we be friends on Facebook?
As Tone Loco and his boys come to and stumble out of the shop, we know it's not the end of Otis here's troubles. Tone's desires to hook the world on pinto sauce is just getting started. At the local Buc-ee's, Otis here steps onto a bus headed to a location unknown and far away. This was only after he bought a little Christmas wrap package of jerky and mailed it to his father in Maryland. The world is safe for now, but will it be tomorrow for Pinto? We hope you've enjoyed the Knives Templar's Winter Stock Pork Playhouse. Join us next time when you will hear Chip Carlisle say, "Hey, if you see Eric Rivers, kick him in the knee. Tell him I said hello. You'll know what you mean." Bye.
Pop's Knife Supply was started 40 years ago and is owned by 4 professional knife makers. Andy Roy of Fiddleback Forge, Alan Searles of W.A. Searles Knives, Joey Berry of J.B. Knife Works, and Dirk Lutz of Dirk Lutz Knives make a great team of owners carrying on the traditions and business started by James Poplin. Over 4 decades in business is a testament to the best customer service with same-day shipping on weekdays. Pops only charges actual shipping, and any shipping differences are refunded on your orders. Everything you need to make knives, from grinding, steel, pin stock, heat treating, and more, can be found at Pops. Visit them at popsknife.supplies. And now, back to the show.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well,
I hope that wasn't too heavy for you, my friend. You look tired.
Jalapeno poppers.
Those jalapenos there.
That was season 1, episode 1 of the Knives Templars Porkhouse Playhouse Theater. So
when will that come out? When you gonna bring that out?
It'll come out on the next episode. It'll be part of our
Is that next Monday or this coming Monday? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. We'll see if we have any listeners after this episode. So as we're having fun for our year end, because we're not going to be here for New Year's, but our year end Christmas party of sorts. I put in a note to see if Eric Rivers has been thawed out yet. I don't know if he. I'm seeing if I can't get any feedback.
Yeah, I saw his video on his Tuesday Shop Talk Tuesday. Yeah. And he was forging in jacket. He was wearing a jacket while forging, right? So it got to be cold where he is right now. So he might be out of power.
That's what I'm wondering. That he could possibly be out of power as well. But if he is, I know he'll have power back on when he hears this. But Eric, we hope you are doing well. Hope Joey's doing well.
Yep.
I know I think he's traveling and doing some stuff with family tonight, and Luke is also with family, but we know he's warm and comfortable. So hopefully everybody is doing well in America and the world during this time. Otis here, I don't think that we've got anything for eating nails and passing barbed wire this week. I mean, is there anything that bothers you?
I mean, name it. A lot bothers me. Everything bothers me.
What the heck's bothering you, man?
Like I said, name something. Give me something.
I don't know.
Well,
we'll think of something
stories
as we go.
Does that bother? Bigfoot stories? Does that bother him? Yeah,
Bigfoot stories bother you?
No, not really. Not really. I don't doubt it, but I have some reservations, right?
Sure,
I have some reservations. I listen to some podcasts, some stories and stuff, and I've seen it. It was 10 feet. 10 feet is only 3 yards, right? 3 steps, right?
That's right.
Oh, come on, man.
Does it chap your rear end when Bobo's on that television show out there saying,
I don't watch those.
"Looks
I don't
squatchy to
watch
me"?
those. I saw
Okay,
a few episodes, but
you got to draw the line there. I
yeah,
do too.
yeah. If you hunted at all, you know that when you go into the woods, you need to be quiet and not bring a disco ball and start playing, Nirvana or whatever, or the drums and stuff like this.
Did you see that? Did you see that thing on YouTube where the guy's playing the drums for Bigfoot?
Oh, there's a lot of flu things going on. I don't know.
No, I'll have to send you that video because I will turn a Bigfoot show on the recliner and just fall asleep listening to it. My wife's like, "Why are you watching? It's like the 16th time you've seen this show." And really it's like the 1600th time, and I'm just using it as background noise while I fall asleep. But yeah, there's one that came on today, and there's this guy that's got a set of drums set up in the forest, and he's dun 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 dun, and he's like, "I would like to think that Bigfoot is inquisitive and he will come in and take a look at what I'm doing. We know that he loves to go in and listen and watch kids as they play." And I'm like, "We do?" And then he goes, "So dun 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 dun." I'm like, I just didn't buy it.
Yeah, well,
I bet there are a bunch of hunters out there ready to take him out. Shut up.
I've been hunting before at close to a residential area. It was far enough that it wasn't any danger to the people. And it was a legal hunting area, right? But these people there, when they noticed that we were in the area, they started banging, cutting wood with axes and chainsaws, and they make a big old fire, right? Try to keep the deer out of the area. But I have to thank them, you know, because instead
They
of the
drove all the
deer
deer to
going
you?
all the way across to the other side, close to where they were, they pushed it right under my tree stand. And we made 3 kills that day between my friends and I. So thank you very much. Your noise worked in my favor. So thank you.
So it doesn't chap your rear end when people are banging pots when you're hunting over there.
It depends
where they're
where.
driving.
If they're
I
too
got you.
close, yeah. But I'm never close to people, anyways. Um, but yeah.
So this is as close as we're getting to eating nails and passing barbed wire today.
Yeah, close
That's
enough.
well. It's the holiday. It's the
You see,
holidays,
Eric's
guys.
not here, so I don't have that good back and forth that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, it's holiday
Yeah.
too, man. So
yeah.
I have
Gotta
not
take
been
it
in my
easy on the holidays.
I've not been in my shop in 4 weeks. I don't know if I told
How
you
come?
guys that.
Yeah, I heard something. Yeah, how come?
Yeah, I had been sick, and then I had to travel for a week at a time on business. So between being sick and that, I walked out my shop today. And here's what I have when I get back in. By the way, I have new liners for my Majestic Forge, which aren't going in their spare parts. I'm going to file those away. It's a second set of liners because I got a deal on 2 sets from 2 sets of people. So I've got probably 10 years worth of liners now. I have a new iPhone 14 Pro Max that I with 500 and was it 12 gig, and I bought a series of filters. I've already had a series of lenses and different devices to hold them, as well as stabilize shots with certain devices. So microphones and so I'm going to get into more cinematic film development around the knife making. And try and make a dent in that in the near future. If you can't be a good knife maker, at least make great movies. And hopefully I'll be in the middle somewhere on both.
is that for YouTube?
That'll be for the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And what else did I?
The cleaver.
My wife is.
How's the cleaver?
Oh, the cleaver. Yeah, I hope to start back on that tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I didn't today because it was 7 degrees in my shop.
Ooh, mercy.
And I could have heated it up, but I just chose to stay in. My son was visiting. So tomorrow I hope to get back out there and do that.
What is the weight on that cleaver? Because it looks to be beefy.
I'll have to weigh it for you and get back with you. I don't
So
know.
whoever you give that to, they need to do a video and send that back and post it. That'd be great.
I certainly hope that they will. Yeah.
Yeah,
I certainly hope they will.
I'm pretty sure whatever goes against that cleaver is going to lose. No.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no doubt.
and the thing is there with that is it's got to be sharp enough to cut like a fillet knife and heavy enough to cut like an axe, because you're going through, if you're going through swordfish or tuna or anything big,
Are you gonna have
it's got
time
to
to
get through it.
test it before you send it over?
I will do some testing on it, but I typically um, I don't want to risk putting any scratches or anything on the knife because I want them to get it in pristine.
No, I mean
I've
before the final finish.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Before I put handles and everything on, yeah.
have you decided what kind of edge profile you're gonna put it in there? Are you gonna do the like a V shape
Convex.
edge in there, or are you gonna try and do what I do with the convexing?
It's going to be convexing, and then what I'm going to do that is use my rotary platen and my Ameribraid rotary platen with the Ameribraid knife sharpening attachment, and that puts a convex
Does it?
sharpen on it. Yeah, because you've got that soft backing on the platen. It's a rubber belt back there,
Okay.
and it creates that rounded off sharpness. And then I'll either finish it off with that, or I might go back and just polish it with a Lansky at the end just to make
How
it nice
high are
and
you
sharp.
gonna bring your convection? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
I'd have to go back and measure it right now. I've left about trying to figure the width. I've got it on it. Probably I'm 3 or 4 millimeters wide at it right now because I wanted to bring the grind up a little bit higher on the sharpening. But I'll have to go back. I can do some measurements. Like I said, I hadn't looked at it in 4 weeks, but this knife I left more width on the edge of the blade because I thought of it as, well, if you have an axe and you've got something that's ground all the way down to the cutting edge, it could roll real easy or crack in this particular case on a piece of hardened steel. So my thought is that if I sharpen it probably out to about 25 degrees and leave enough thickness there, it'll have the sharpness of a not a kitchen knife, but a utility knife. It will fillet on a big piece of meat like that. So maybe I want to go 20 degrees, but
I would go 20.
it will. Yeah, but it'll still be rounded over to hold that strength at the edge where it's going to be used for popping and hitting bone and all that kind of stuff.
Because
did you have like a guide, an idea for you to make that cleaver? Did you look at what did you look at when you were thinking about making that cleaver?
I watched YouTube videos and then I just drew it based on that. But typically they've got hidden tangs that are hammered through a round handle.
Yeah, I don't like those.
And do you want to hear something here, Otis? Here,
tell me.
I took the knife that you made me,
okay,
and I copied the profile, changed it just a little bit, but I used that profile to make the handle.
Okay,
and it's going to be a full
tang for the cleaver.
But yeah,
cool.
So it's going to have more of that type of handle on the cleaver rather than just that round utility type.
That ain't going nowhere. If your hand is
it'll
wet,
be very solid. Yeah.
If your hand is wet or anything like this, bloody or greasy, that style handle is meant for you to stay in your hand.
Oh yeah, and I will. I'm putting some Oleg's wood on it, and I'll be able to say that with a straight face. But I'll put some of the Oleg's knife-wood.com on it, and I've got a beautiful piece of wood that's got the same colors that you see in tuna or marine type life. It's got some blues and silvers and golds in it. So I think it's going to be quite beautiful. Hey, you guys ready for a little bit of a contest?
Let's go.
Let's go.
I got some Christmas trivia for you guys. You've been celebrating Christmas for how many years? Probably close to 130 years between all of us.
At least,
give or take.
Yeah. Well, you've got 116 years between me and Don. The other two,
right.
Almost 200 years worth of Christmas is celebrated between all of us. So we're going to do who knows the most about Christmas, and I'm going to be keeping score, and I will tell you what you win at the end of this.
We're ready.
Are you ready, guys?
Let's go. Let's do
it. All right, here we go. I got to write down the names here. Mark, Don, and Otis Heisenberg. OH for short. I'm going to ask you each individually, so don't scream out the answer because you'll be competing against each other. Who wants to go first?
I'll do.
All right, and then I'm just going to go in order. Then that's Otis here and Mark after that. Don, which fairy tale was the first gingerbread house inspired by?
Man, I don't know.
I'll huff and I'll buff and I'll blow your bluff.
Oh,
down.
okay. Red Rider. Red Rider.
No, that wasn't it at all. No, I was just
You got me on that one, man.
That would be 0 points there.
That was cold, though.
Stone Cold Chip Carlisle. Okay, Otis here. Question number 2. How many points apiece, by the way? 5 points apiece. The first person to get 20 wins.
Oh, God.
Otis here. In A Christmas Story, what is the name of the neighbors whose dog ate the Christmas turkey?
I'm not even going to try. I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
The blank's dogs just came over and ate the turkey. Those ding that live next door.
I don't know.
All right. Anybody else want to? Hey, by the way, if you know one of these, raise your hand.
I know the first one.
No, we're writing the rules as we go now. This is a Christmas episode. Anybody know the name of the family? It's going to kill you when you hear it.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
No, it's A Christmas Story. The Bumpuses.
Oh, okay.
The who?
No, I ain't never heard of that one.
The Bumpuses dogs next door ate the turkey. All right. Mark Marcello, what's the heritage of your name? Italian. Okay.
See, he's from Jersey. He's from Jersey. I haven't seen him go like this with his hands yet.
All right. Hey, just by the way, I learned how to make pasta, Mark. I'm making my own pasta now. I love it. But you may know this one because Italian and Spanish have some similar roots. Otis here, don't scream out here. How do we say Merry Christmas in Spanish?
I'd say that's Feliz Navidad.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, my gosh, man.
It's our favorite song.
Don, where did the work and the idea Christ Mucka come from?
Well, number one, what's a mucka?
I have no idea. Skip that question. It's stupid.
Where's it from? Like,
you know it, Mark?
Where did it originate? I thought it was Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it says the OC. -5, Mark.
Oh, sorry about that.
-5 for a wrong answer. Okay. Otis here. Next question. Today is December the 23rd, right?
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Today is the day for airing of the grievances. What major holiday is it in America?
Christmas?
It's 2 days from now. What's on the 23rd? Airing of the grievances around the grievance poll.
Man, I'm out of the loop on this one. I don't know.
Don, you raised your hand?
Yeah, Good Friday.
-5, Don. You're at -5. Mark's at 0 because we took his 5 back. All right. Anybody else know the answer to that? Festivus for the rest of us. Remember?
Bowl.
Oh my goodness! No,
we had a Festivus bowl when I was deployed.
Yeah. You know what? You had a Festivus poll when you were deployed? All right.
It was
you get 5
for
back,
the rest
you're
of
back
us.
at 5 points. You had a Festivus poll, you get 5 points back. Okay, you're leading the group with 5, everybody else has 0.
Hold on, time out. What is a festival for the rest of us? I don't what's that?
The Festivus for the rest of us, it's a major holiday that was derived from an episode of Seinfeld where George's father, they had you'll just have to go back and look it up on Wikipedia, but something about George not getting the toy he wanted for Christmas and all the grievances and that unhappy people in the world, and they created Festivus for the rest of us that weren't jolly. So,
gosh,
Mark, it's your turn. You're at 5 points. Visions of food danced in children's heads as they slept in the poem. It was the night before Christmas.
Oh, it's got to be my favorite. No, not really. But I would say that might be sugar plums.
Mark, 10 points. 10 points.
Darn,
He's
Mark,
up to 10.
you kicking it, baby. Darn.
Mark, do you shop at Hobby Lobby?
I would say that my wife shops at Hobby Lobby, so that means I shop at Hobby Lobby.
That's right.
Right answer.
Okay, because I was about to take 2 points away for lying because all knife makers shop at Hobby Lobby for something. Whether there's epoxy or what. Okay, you're still leading with 10 points. Okay, Don, here we go.
All right, man.
What gift did the little drummer boy give to the newborn Christ? Don't you get this wrong. What gift did the little drummer boy give to the newborn Christ?
His drum.
He can give him his drum.
I thought he gave him his drum.
No, he didn't say, here's my drum, take my drum. Anybody else? Like Neil Peart walking in going, dun, 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 dun. Here, take the drum. What did the little drummer boy give to the newborn Christ because he had nothing else to give?
His drumsticks?
I think he gave him it was a song, right?
It was a song. Yay,
Mark. I was going
to
say that points. Too, man, but
he gave him his song. His song. All right. Otis, here, you'll know this one.
Maybe.
What country did eggnog come from? And it wasn't eggnogia. Eggnog's to Copel or something. No, what country did eggnog come from?
I have to say somewhere in Europe, maybe Germany.
You okay? Okay, anybody else?
Japan.
England.
Man,
it's close.
All right,
close. Yeah,
England. Mark, you retain your 15 points because you did not answer. Very good. All right, Mark, for the win. What is Ralphie's brother's name on the movie A Christmas Carol?
My wife would know this. I do not know. I could tell you the words he said when he was beating somebody up.
Yeah. I don't have a small Christmas tree. Hey, Don, do you know?
I do not know.
Otis here? His name was Randy. The amazing Randy.
Oh, okay.
All right, Don.
Yes, sir.
Don, here's an easy 5 for you.
I hope so.
Just read them in order. What did Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. This is a Christmas present. What did Frosty the Snowman do when a magic hat was placed upon his head?
He came alive.
And okay, Otis here. What did he do?
Hey man, I'm bad at this. I don't know.
He danced.
There you go, Don. Okay, you get your back, Don. I'm going to give you 10 points for that. You were at -5. You're back at 5 points now.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job. All right. Otis here, here's one for you. You got this one, baby. You're a music guy. What are you supposed to do when you find yourself under the mistletoe?
Oh.
Fish.
Yeah.
Hey, finally one. Hey.
Heisenberg's got 5 on the board.
There you go.
What do you do if you here's you get an extra 5 points if you get this one right. What do you do if you find yourself under the mistletoe?
I'll pass. I'll pass this one. Let Mark answer this one.
Take another sip.
Yeah,
Mark. If you get the wrong answer, you lose points. You kiss. Mistletoe. Kiss is always the right answer. I'll take it for either one.
Oh.
All right, Mark, here you go.
All right.
This is for the win. Which one of Santa's reindeer has the same name as another holiday mascot?
Another holiday mascot. Oh, I would say Cupid.
Come on.
Yay! 20 points, Mark. You were the winner.
Darn, Mark, you awesome, buddy. Oh yeah.
I had to count through all of them
Man, that sounds.
in my head.
All right, you guys have the opportunity
You know,
to block Mark for the win.
Oh gosh.
you know, this reminds me of something that this Christmas tradition is not very strong in Brazil as it is here, right? We
Mm-hmm.
have Christmas and stuff, but all these Christmas carols and Christmas stories and Frosty is not something that we have there
Right.
as a tradition there. Basically, it's just a just a party. So
I thought that they took them up to the top of those stone pyramids and chopped off their heads, pulled out the heart, and
no,
rolled them
no,
down.
that you're thinking about the Mexicans.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Okay, guys, this is like tennis. You have the opportunity to block the win. I need one right answer. You get 2 chances. You can both answer. According to the song, on what day did my true love give to me on the 8th day of Christmas?
What?
According to the song, the 12 days of Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
what did my true love give to me on the 8th day of Christmas? It wasn't 8 gallons of pinto sauce.
See,
They're singing in their heads right now, Mark.
I
think I
can
know
see
it,
Don
but-
thinking in there.
Yeah.
You get 2 chances.
Let me Google it.
Mark, have they had long enough?
Go ahead, Mark. Show us.
I think it's 8 maids and milking.
There you go. Okay. So, guys, here is your last opportunity to block the win, block Mark from the gift and everything. You've got to get this one right or the game is over. What is the highest grossing what is the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? Not you, Mark. You got to block yourself from winning. Don or Odysseus? What is
Die
the
Hard.
highest grossing? No.
I like that one.
Good guess. That's a good guess, though. I would have probably gone with that if I didn't know the
Jimmy
answer.
Stewart played in it.
No, he did not.
Home Alone.
Ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding,
man.
ding, ding.
Okay, good.
But Odysseus, you already gave a wrong answer. So, Mark, you are the winner. Mark, you are the happy recipient of any of the Monopoly pieces. So if you're, particular fan of any one of the Monopoly playing pieces, I will be happy to send you one along with $2,000 in Monopoly's cash. Thank you for playing.
Oh my!
man, buddy.
Okay, congratulations.
Merry Christmas. All right. So, hey, Merry Christmas, guys. Got a little opportunity to hear from our guys over. Looking for a brand new or used firearm in or around Hartselle, Alabama? Head on down to Byford's Gun Shop and explore their latest offers and deals. On top of a great selection of high quality and affordable firearms to fit your needs, their staff will have you driving away with a smile. Byford's is a third-generation business that has been serving customers since 1971. Started by Joe and his father Ernest, the business continues to prosper well into the 21st century with Jeff Byford's knowledge and leadership. With brands like Benelli, Glock, Sig Sauer, and many others, you won't go wrong. Also check out their large selection of AR-15s and hunting rifles in many calibers. Byford's carries ammunition, special installation service, knives, accessories, transfers, and customer service that's second to none. Stop in and see them at 510 Main Street West in Hartselle, Alabama, or like them on Facebook at Byford's Gun Shop. Their team can be reached at 256-778-3111. That's Byford's Gun Shop, where they go the extra mile to satisfy your shopping experience. Head on over today. They'll be waiting for you with friendly faces. It's the Christmas show, guys. The Christmas show on the Knives Templars.
That's right.
We're talking leather today.
We are, but we did not talk about the Maker's Mark this week. We can give everybody a little Christmas break traveling around, but check with us next time on the Maker's Mark. As you know, Odysseus and I found Don, Mark, and a variety of other great guys that once you join us on the Maker's Mark series and talk a little bit about your knives and what you do, you get pulled into an elite group of guys, a fraternity of sorts, and we sit and chat throughout the week, throughout the days, and we've got our own little private group of knife makers, and we enjoy each other's company. And we're glad you're here. So, hey, thank you guys at Pops for helping to make the Maker's Mark possible. And I am enjoying all these wonderful makers that I've learned to develop and develop friendships with. So, hey,
yes,
thank you, Pops. Yeah, let's move. You mentioned we're going to talk about leather today. Actually, that's our next discussion is to talk about leather work. So, with that, that's going to be the one thing we discussed this week on our Knives Templars University. So, Otis here, you want to kick us off? You said you've been doing some leather here lately.
Yeah. So my leather work, I would say confidently, my leather work sucks, right? I'm not very good at it. I rather work with Kydex,
yeah, me
but
too.
the style of knife that I've been making with those hidden tanks and finger guards and stuff, it fits better on a leather sheath. Now,
It looks good too. It
yeah,
looks better on your knives.
Yeah,
yep, yeah. So this week I spent some time and I made four leather sheaths, taco shell style. The listeners won't be able to see it, but it's
Yeah.
simple design. Not a no ornamentation on the leather, no stamping or anything. It was just a wrap around, nice,
Hold that up where I can see it again, Otis here.
really the nice hand stitching, right?
Yeah, and if I can describe that for everybody, it's just a simple fold over, like you said, taco style fold over, nice stitching.
Mm-hmm.
Stitching is spaced beautifully, and
6 millimeter
he's
each.
run his groove line just a fraction in from the edge, and then he's let me see the back of it there, Otis here. And then you've got is it a rollover belt loop that
Yeah,
you've put into it?
yeah.
And then on top of that, you've burnished the edge really nice and shiny
Hmm,
and
hmm.
dark. So it's actually a good looking sheath for what you do. And I think probably every one of your knives deserves something. Got a beautiful gloss sheen. Looks like a brown finish from
Yeah,
here,
shoe
Otis
polish,
here.
brown shoe
Shoe
polish.
polish, brown. Yeah, just beautiful,
Yeah,
gorgeous
yeah, yeah,
sheath.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I gotta step up with my leather work. This is another one, right? So I
Mm.
made three exactly the same,
Yeah.
and
nice.
so
They're beautiful, Otis. Here, what I will tell you is that for me, you can actually go on YouTube, and I make a sheath on YouTube, and you should never use your first sheath you ever make as a YouTube video. And when I do it, when I walk away and I remember that sheath, actually went on my first knife, and while I'm still proud of it, it is the ugliest sheath I've ever made, and everyone gets better and better with time. But here's some of the key things with me. I went out and watched a bunch of weavers and tandy videos on how to size sheath patterns and draw sheath patterns. I went out and watched a lot of people making sheaths. And a couple things that I have learned in that is I wanted to do a lot of tooling up front, and I backed off of that. So I hear what you're saying. I just wanted to become a good sheath maker, even though I can actually tool and carve leather and do stuff adequately. I did a nice Viking ship on something I sent overseas, but I just wanted a good basic sheath. So what I
yeah,
do is I buy good quality leather. I don't go and it's okay to buy it there, but I don't buy my leather from Hobby Lobby in case I just need to. I'll order good quality leather online that comes in and it's supple.
Tandy leather.
Um, yes,
I
Tandy makes
went to
excellent
Tandy.
leather.
I went to Tandy about 2 weeks ago.
Did you notice a big difference in
Oh
that
yeah,
leather?
yeah, yeah. I bought
Oh yeah,
basically, not only better, but it's cheaper too. I
yes,
was buying some pretty good leather. It was getting shipped to me from California. It would take about a week to get to me.
right.
When I found this Tandy leather store right next to me, about 40 minutes from me.
That's not
I
bad.
went there. I bought basically half of a
Mm-hmm.
cow worth of leather
Mhm.
for $100. Right. So I
Be
have
nice if they'd done in the steaks with it.
I have leather for days now. So I can screw up as many times as it takes for me to get to the final product that I want, and it's pretty good too. It's very decent leather. No. very few. If you, I'll take some more detailed pictures and I'll post it.
Sure.
But very few surface defects on the leather. Okay, very
What
few
else?
wrinkles
What
or
else
anything
is
like
that?
this. So it
What
is
else
never
is that?
perfect because it's a natural product, right?
Right.
But it is as good as I've seen so far. Yeah.
What ounce are you buying? Don asked.
I don't know, man. I go by thickness. This is
Okay.
about two, maybe 2.5 millimeters thick.
Hold it up. Let me see again.
Let me get the
About
knife
seven
out.
ounce, 7 ounce,
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah, about
Yeah, I was
that.
going to say it looks like it's 7 ounce.
Yeah.
Hold it up. I can't see it. I don't see it in front. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's about seven
like
ounce leather.
7, 8 ounce. Yeah,
I buy 7, 8 ounce, but I've also been buying some 9, 10 ounce leather as well. I love some of that thickness on larger, beefier blades. Smaller blades I use the other leather on. But here's one thing. I've watched enough videos because really you can learn to do anything on YouTube on how to make patterns and such. Made proper patterns, learned how to make a proper welt, learned how to dye my leather and even airbrush my leather. As a lot of times I use an airbrush now for that
that's right.
consistent color, and even do some fading with darker colors and this, that, and the other. But I didn't buy Amazon tools. I did it in the beginning. I went bought back and I bought Weaver or Tandy leather tools. So I had beautiful sharpened tools that did a really nice job. And the only thing that's not a good proper leather tool that I use now is just my razor blade that I got at Lowe's that I use to cut the leather. I don't really subscribe to getting a leather cutting knife. Um, so when I make my sheaths, my biggest thing that I'm still trying to get good at is actually
Yeah.
when I'm going through and drilling the holes, because getting consistency on laying that leather down where it's nice and flat and you get a straight hole through one end to the other.
Mm.
Seems like if I've got 99 holes to drill, 97 of them will be perfect and two will be off just enough that it irritates me. I'm not as bad as I used to be. And a lot of times they can be hidden in a groove stitch or a groove or something cutter. But the last thing that I really wanted to say about that is that um, I've
Mm.
gotten really good at burnishing. I bought some of the professional burnishing creams because I was using um, what is
Hmm.
the yellow saddle soap. I've used wax. I've used some of the stuff that you can buy from some of the leather suppliers. But when I not leather suppliers, I'm thinking about the stuff at Hobby Lobby. But I went out and bought the Tandy leather finish for burnishing, and it creates these beautiful hard edges on my leather now. And it's growing and it's gotten much better. The rest of it all is just kind of like your knife making, Otis here. The first knife you make looks nothing like the one that you made, 3 years later. So leather just keeps getting better and better for me anyway.
Yeah. No,
What
you're
about
right.
you?
Yeah, you're right. So you saw most of the sheets that I made so far, and I posted the pictures, so you guys could look at it and everything. And you saw, and I tried to do some stamping, and okay, yeah, it looks okay, but I'm not happy with it. So I took a step back, and I am going to focus on just making a good, clean, plain sheath that does the function that is designed to do, which is to protect the knife and keep
Hmm.
it right secure
Yeah.
without shaking or anything, or coming out even when you put it upside down or anything like this. Nice proper pressure in there.
Right.
And as time goes by, then and only then I will start doing some stamping and maybe carving, or things like this. But for now, I will focus on that, and that's gonna be
Yeah.
my goal for the upcoming season of knife making here, because I
Yeah.
gotten pretty good with my knife making. My grind lines are good. My plunge lines are great. My guards, I have no complaints whatsoever. It fits awesome against the shoulders and the tang and everything. So I feel like I've gotten far enough in the knife making that now I can take a step aside and work on a different side of the knife making, which is sheath, right?
Right.
A knife needs a sheath unless you're
Yeah,
making like a kitchen knife or something that's going to be in a drawer or in a block. A knife needs a sheath.
I
Right.
think so too.
Do
I would
you?
never sell a knife without a sheath in it.
No,
Like I
me
said
neither.
I would
before,
never buy a knife
I
without a sheath.
Kydex. I love Kydex, but a good, pretty Kydex gotta be with a full tang knife, right?
Hmm.
No finger guard or anything like this. No, because a finger guard knife has a few of those old style buoys, right?
Hmm.
And those knives, although I could marry a kydex to them, I can make it so it fits nice, right, and looks good. It is not the look that I'm going for, so
Yeah.
I have
Let me ask you
to get
this:
to,
what kind of
to leather.
stitching do you use? What kind of stitching do you use?
Uh, what do you mean? What kind of stitching do I use?
Well, here's what I want to say: is that when I learned to do a true saddle stitch, and there's a method to it, and there's a way of doing it. Every stitch locks itself in, and making sure I'm married up by not shoving
Hmm.
too heavy of a thread through too small of a hole, and using the saddle stitch.
Hmm.
Excuse me, and using the saddle stitch to lock in each thread each time it passed through the leather made all the difference in the world. And so if I'm talking to someone that's a knife maker, a lot of times you'll sit and watch a video and you'll see, just like I did at one point in time, watch a guy doing saddle stitching, and you start kind of flipping that line over every time you take um, the needle through. And are you turning it right or left and this, that, and the other? And you can get confused, and you're not really saddle stitching. You're just kind of rolling the lines over each other and they pull through. A true saddle stitch locks in. Learning to do that with the right size thread, with the right size hole you've put in that leather is key. Um, and then also, if you're saddle stitching, if you use a saddle to sit on and put your leather on and lock it in and free up your hands, and you're not using that piece of leather between your legs or in a vise or something else you're trying to do to hold it there. Some people stick them on rods while they're doing it. I have found that when I went out and bought a $20 or $29 um, um, what did I just call it, a saddle
Mm-hmm.
clamp, a saddle vise or whatever, when I bought that to put my leather in as I'm working on it, made all the difference in the world because it stabilized my product. And that's when I realized I really wasn't doing the saddle stitch properly, because I was able to duplicate that stitch over and over and over again. And as I put my needle through, how many of you guys have ever been threading and you pull it through and you go to pull it and you
Yep,
realize you've gone through the
I've
thread
done
as you
that.
were passing it through, and it's like crap. Yeah. So when you saddle stitch properly, and you stick that needle through and it just comes through the other side, you just pull a little bit on the other side's thread. And if that thread is locked in to that stitch, the needle's gone through the string, it will pull it off, or it'll pull it out and you'll see it and you'll be able to pull it off, and you'll never run the line through the thread ever again. So proper saddle stitching and a proper what is that? What did I call it? The clamp that you put your leather in, you sit on.
Saddle.
Saddle, stitching
Saddle.
saddle.
Yeah,
That's it.
stitching
Thank you.
saddle.
Good God, it's bad to be old, Don. When you get to be as old as me, you'll realize it. Get yourself a good stitching saddle.
Yep.
Sometimes I clamp it to my desktop and I'll stand up there and sew. Sometimes I'll sit on it, but that stitching saddle makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, that's
But
I
yeah,
would get one too.
yeah, it's like making the knives themselves. We learn as we grow.
Yeah,
We learn from
I
our
like to
mistakes.
ask Mr. Otis there. I didn't realize you did Kydex on them Bowie knives,
Yeah.
hidden tangs. I really didn't realize that. I'm thinking he does that. You did leather, because I can see where that would be.
Yeah, I'll take some pictures and I'll forward it to you later.
Yeah, that would be challenging. Yeah, that's kind of a
It has to be a
challenging.
chew ply. It
Sure.
cannot be a
Yeah,
taco
you gotta
style. It has to
you
be
gotta do a
chew.
pancake. Yeah.
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 I mean, I
Has
was
to be.
thinking you did leather, but hey, man, if you did it out of Kydex, that's pretty good
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that nice click and hold. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've got a Knives Templar podcast Facebook group out there. Some of you guys that are leather crafting or just making lives, be sure and go out and join our new group. You can find us on the Facebook at Knives Templars Podcast. Just do a search for us and just answer a couple questions, and we'll let you on in.
Yeah,
And we want to see
jump
what you're
in.
making. You can also submit questions, show us your product. You can ask to be on the show, and we don't say no. And we will just grow with the community. So join us out there, and work to become a better leather maker. Hey guys, got time for a question or two before we move on in? We're getting close to that 2-hour
Yep.
mark.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Majestic Forge is owned and operated by Brian and Kayla Horn in Rushville, Ohio. With many years of experience manufacturing 2 to 5 burner gas forges, Majestic Forge is your #1 source for blacksmith forges, farrier forges, and specialty forges. They are dedicated to creating top-of-the-line forges at a price you can afford. Majestic Forge has supplied forges to blacksmith schools, high schools, colleges, production shops, and TV shows such as Mythbusters. And Majestic Forge is the forge of choice for televisions forged in fire. Knife makers are in luck as they offer forges that come with 2 or 3 deluxe burners. Here at Knives Templars, we are sure that you can find a USA-made Majestic Forge to suit your needs. Check out your next forge at majesticforge.com.
All right, welcome back. Hey, just so happens I've got a forge question for you guys. It's from our buddy Keith, and he says, I am looking into buying some knives and do not want to buy a forge yet.
Buying knives
I
or
would like
building
to.
knives? Making knives.
He's looking into building some knives, and he doesn't want to buy a forge yet. I would like some suggestions other than the 1080 knives, due to the fact that since I'll be paying for heat treat, I can use a more complex steel. The only info I can find on beginner steel point to 1084, but my understanding is that mainly due to heat treat forgiveness. I also know that some steels eat up the belts like crazy, and since I'll be using a 1x30 for now, that concerns me. Can anyone provide me some suggestions?
Um, I'll go first on this one. So if you're gonna be sending your knives out to be heat treated, you can use any steel you want. I mean, I would go straight to Pops 8670 or 80
Yeah.
CRV2. You know, go straight to a higher end steel. Not to say that at 1080 it is not good. I have a knife that I made out of 1084, but I heat treated myself. But if you're gonna go and send it out to be heat treated, man, there's no limit to what you can get, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And concerning the overheat, right? When you're using the a 1x30, I don't think there's a problem. Just take it slow, right? Just
Yeah.
take it
Keep the water
slow.
Yeah.
by you. Yeah. Keep it. Keep
You
it
know, take it slow.
wet.
One pass into the water, another pass into the water. But
Mhm.
that is only if if you're grinding after the knife is already treated, right? But if you're gonna do all
Yeah.
your grinding before you send it out to get heat treated, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and if he's gonna grind them out before he heat treat them, he's gonna have to come back and regrind or finish sand them or something anyway.
Yes and
But
no, but here's a pinto tip. Here's
All
a
right.
pinto
Let's
tip.
get it.
Here's
Let's
a
hear it,
pinto
baby.
tip. Okay, when before I go to heat treat my knives, I've been doing it like this lately.
right,
I bring it to 120, right? That's my final belt right there, 120. I will do most of my cleanup job before I even go into heat treat. So by the time I go to heat treat, I am pretty much already hand sanded at 220, right? And after
yeah,
heat treat, all is just a progressive, hand sanded to the finish.
right.
Hmm.
And I
So
would
you can
say
do that too, right?
using a 1x30,
Yeah.
go out and buy decent belts. If you're out there buying silicon oxide belts, you're tearing up belts, going through cheap belts, and doing your steel a disservice, because as that comes off of there and that grit gets finer, you stand more of a chance of burning your steel, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's heat treated or not. So go out and buy some Combat or Phoenix or anything
Pop
that's
sells them.
ceramic over at Pops. Yeah.
They have on my
Uh,
30s.
yeah, and pick those up, and you're going to find better results by just using better materials.
Yeah, but
But as far as the
yeah,
steel goes, I think you're right on with the steel Lotus here.
yeah, that wraps it. I mean, if you're gonna send it out, I mean, you can do any steel, even stainless, if you want, right? Just make sure
Yep.
you have your grind lines perfect as you want it to be, and after it's all said and done, just ship it. When it comes back, a quick cleanup, hand sand it, or whatever you want to do with it, and be done.
Right. All right. Well, next question. It says, a gentleman named Chris. He says, I love the look of your darker blades, guys. Can someone tell me how this is achieved? Is it some steps involved with the quenching or the actual blade material? We all can answer this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's talking about dark blades. He's talking about like acid etching, stuff like that, and then stone washing. I love that on carbon steel, man. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
enjoy
it looks
that
really
because
nice.
it protects it.
Yeah. Have you noticed? I do a very light etch on my knives, and then I'll go with the Scotch Brite sponge, and I'll
Mhm.
scuff the etching out of it, and leave just nice crisp little lines out of it. That's a finish that I really like. But
Yep.
going to the dark knives, man. Acid etching will do. Mustard, vinegar.
Anybody do the? Any of you
Um,
guys use a coffee etch or after your pepper?
I did. I had some.
Hmm.
I had some Alabama Damascus.
Mhm.
I'll send you the pictures later. It's sitting right there on top of my desk over there.
Yeah.
Beautiful blades. Overnight on a coffee edge looks awesome. Yeah.
Does the
Yeah, I've never
But
done a coffee etch. I'm gonna try
Does
some
the
because
coffee etch
I
it
want
like
to do
so? When
I
I do
want
an
to do
acid
one.
etch and I leave it in there longer, it seems like it's kind of pitting the steel, right? And so you don't get that perfectly smooth, shiny, black color. But I've seen knives with coffee etch. Is you can get a little more of a higher finish and a dark blade. Is that what you're saying?
I think the main thing, if you're getting some
Hmm.
pitting when you're using the ferrochloric acid, when you're getting
Okay.
a lot of pitting, you're leaving it in it too long at one time.
Multiple shorter
You
tiers.
could do more
Yeah.
multiple times. You know what I mean? Like 7, 8 minutes, and then pull it out, sand it off, or I still will it with 4-aught, clean it
So
off real good, and put it
what I
back
have
in.
found out, it depends on the steel. 1095, 8670, they all seem to darken a little bit different than others. Ferric chloride is a very easy go-to for dipping your blades. Some people dip their blades for a couple minutes. I dip knives for 20 minutes, giving them a break every 6 or 7 minutes, washing it, looking at it for color and the effect on that steel, and then dipping it again. So I would say that is good. Others that they've mentioned on here, and mustard, coffee, apple cider vinegar, anything acidic, you can put that carbon steel in, and it's going to bring out that darkness. And the longer it sits in there, the darker it's going to get. But also, one thing you want to remember is that it's always going to be a surface finish, so it's not going to darken that steel all the way through. So
oh yeah, it's
while
just a micron thick. Is
Right,
Yeah.
right. So even on my knives, I have found that when I use the ferric chloride, it tends to be a very tough finish, and just normal everyday cutting, whether it's leather or rope or this, that, and the other, doesn't really have too much of effect on it, even though you'll see some little runs here or there. And if I want to go back and touch it, it's easy to go back and redo those knives. Um, but also there's a steel coloring agent that one of the knife makers out there, he's a master smith on Facebook. I see him all the time, from Oklahoma. He
Hmm.
uses a chemical on his steel that actually turns it black. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I've
what
seen
that
it.
stuff.
I've seen Dennis Tyrell do something like that
Yeah,
with
yeah,
hot salts. There's two different kind of salts. One is a
hmm
really high temperature one, which he recommends to be used for fittings, right? Say
yes,
guards and pommels, because you're heating that salt to, I think, something like 600 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
right.
So it's pretty hot for a blade, and you will lose the tempering. But then there's a different one which you do to you can do the entire knife. It's only about 200 degrees, so it's not going to damage the tempering on the knife. So it comes out pretty nice and dark. There's a name for for that finish. It's not phosphating, like those rifle finishes.
Right.
Nitrite,
Yeah,
nitrite,
super glue,
nitrite.
like super,
Yeah, yeah,
the
nitrite. I
super
think it's
glue. Yeah.
nitrite. That's what it's called. A hot salt bath in there. It
Right.
turns nice and dark. And then there is
So
the old gun blue, right?
Yep.
But gun blue is a bit more complicated. No, it's not complicated, but
it's not it seems more finicky as far as getting a consistent finish, or um, it tends to rub off a lot easier.
yes.
What I've seen,
Yeah.
but it is a chemical reaction. We can always change the color of steel with heat, and we can change it with a chemical reaction, or we can change it with time with carbon steel. So, for what Chris is asking here, I would say you can look into ferric chloride. That's a little harsher material to use. You need to be careful with it. It's an acid, but also you can start off with certainly with vinegars, mustards, coffee, and things like that that can darken your steel pretty easy. So it's really neat. And the neat thing is, just know that if you use the proper handle materials, it's easy to go back and retreat those at some point in the future and bring them back to a new finish. Hey, Donnie says he's setting up a new shop for making knives. He's
Okay.
looking at the cost of effective dust collection solutions that will be okay for metal. Everything seems to be too industrial and for corporate production. I just want something small. Thanks. So this is for, I guess he's looking for dust collection for metal. And I would assume he's wanting something more than just a dust catch bin like we talk about for our
Yeah.
grinders. So what are you guys doing?
I don't have nothing hooked up to a vacuum for my metal dust. I mean, there's a way of doing it. I've seen guys that Ailey knives. Aaron's got something that's pretty cool. I just never done it yet. But I
Well,
mean,
I can
there's
tell.
things you can do, but I mean, I just hadn't done it yet. But I just that's kind of a tough thing too, because if you're not careful, if it can catch fire. So
That's true. That's true.
I mean, you can literally. I mean, if you, I mean, I've ground wood handles into my metal bucket,
Right.
and then turn around and the next day, and I profiled a couple knives out, and I smelt something. I went, "What in the world's that, man?" I looked down, man. It was smoldering, man. I mean, if that had been in a vacuum cleaner, man, with sawdust and everything else, I said that could cause a major problem. So,
Well, here's
um,
here's what I have. I have a PVC and flexible pipe system because of my shop. In previous shop I had it a hard pipe system, and what I have is a steel container. It's a 35-gallon drum, and I have a dust centrifuge. So on one side is a vacuum. I have a shop vac that's pulling air through one side, and in between that is this drum and this centrifuge. On the other side, it goes out to my equipment. Those hook into the different equipment dust collection systems. In that 35-gallon drum, I have water in the bottom of it. The centrifuge sits on top, and as it sucks the dust through, it goes through and circles around this centrifuge and drops out into the drum. Then the air is picked back up and taken to the shop vac. Every time I use this, if I'm working with metal, I clean it out. I make sure it's watered The centrifuge is cleaned out. Whatever I put it into the trash, I water it down. I put it away because if there's any combustibles in there like wood or paper or whatever else I've been working with, I don't want it to smolder up. If I'm working with wood dust, not so much. I know it's going in water and not an issue. So water is the big
Hmm.
quenchant, so to speak, or cools it
Yeah.
down as we need to in that particular system. I know that a lot of wood shops, and I have a friend that's a woodworker, and where I got the idea, he his just goes into a dry bin and he empties it out occasionally. But you have to make sure that know what you're working with, and whether it's like oily rags in your shop or hot metal or whatever, those things need to go out into a receptacle when you're done at the end of the day, because you don't want any of those things sparking up fires or smoldering overnight and causing an issue in your shop and preventing
Hmm.
you from making noise. So I would say you can go on Amazon and look at dust collection systems, and it'll bring up some of those centrifuges and probably help you with the system there. The key to it is following their directions and making sure if you're generating anything that could produce a spark or carry heat, that you empty that out and follow the manufacturer's recommendations, because sometimes building up combustible dust levels to levels that could become explosive, you want to make sure you're not doing that. So always understand what you're doing, make sure things are grounded, fire suppression systems are in place as needed or if needed, and that you've got a good housekeeping program to keep things very clean. Number one thing, follow the manufacturer's instructions, but I use a dust collection system. You can tell I'm a safety engineer for a living, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, last question. Andrew asked us, I am thinking of making a couple kitchen knives out of some 1080 steel that I have. I was thinking of doing a cold blue as a slight protective coating. My question is, will this affect food prep in
Hmm.
any way? Guys?
Uh, I can go first on this one because I had that same doubt some time ago, and upon looking online and YouTube and everything, I found this video of this other knife maker. He was talking about this same thing, and basically, if I remember correctly, there is something called selenium on cold blue, which is in fact toxic, right? But you need to take a lot of it into your system to be prejudicial to your health, right? To be bad for you, right? So, in if you just blew the knife and as you're cutting it, it is not rubbing off, bluing from the knife into your food to make you sick. However, it is not recommended that you use it at all, right? Not for a kitchen implement, but if you happen to use it for yourself, I mean, it's not
Well,
something that is gonna maybe make you sick or something like this. But I honestly, the way I understood what the guy was saying, it you would have to, basically take the whole little bottle of
yeah, you'd have to
blue,
drink the whole bottle.
yeah, for it to
Yeah.
be harmful to you. Then again, the guy might be wrong, and I might be giving you bad information here, right? So
Mhm.
honestly, I don't know. I
Well,
would just simply, instead of gun bluing now, I would simply just
Hmm.
cut some steaks with it, right? And it will instantly blue
Yeah, I guess
the
that.
knife, right? Yep,
acid in the blood.
acid
Yeah.
in the blood, and it looks better to me.
So go buy a steak and rub on it, and then cook the
There
steak,
you go.
and you're good. Yeah, and there's other things you can choose, because that gun blue is going to be a temporary finish anyway. It might
And
look
it
good
has
because
it
they
has
cooked
it
it, but
has
it's
a
going to be
strong smell to it.
yeah. I would say throw it in some ferric chloride or
Yep.
coffee etchant or something rather than gun blue it. But gun blue is a great first place to start. But go ahead and jump on in and
Get you
mix
some
you up
ferrochoric.
some coffee pudding
Mhm.
or some ferric chloride or something along those lines, and you'll
Yeah,
find you've got a much more stable finish.
yeah. The gun
And
I got
blue.
a
If I would use a gun blue right now, would be mostly for fittings, like the guard or a pin or something like that, but not for the blade itself. One is very uneven when you apply it, right? Once when you start, yeah, when you start applying it, you're gonna have some streaking, and unless you have enough fluid that you can dip the whole blade inside,
Yeah.
you know.
I only use gun blue on my deer antler or my deer European mount lamps that I make, and I use a piece of black steel to make the gun barrel that comes through the skull and up, and I use gun blue on that, but that's probably the one places I would use it. Hey, Don.
You can also force patina with apple cider vinegar and some water. Fill up a pan of water or
Yeah.
a bowl and put it on the oven. On the stove.
Yeah.
Get you a mason jar, half and half of water and water and just regular cheap Walmart apple cider vinegar. Heat it up until it boils. Stick that blade down in there, and then turn it off. It'll force a patina on that knife. I've done several of them like that.
There you go.
How does it look?
Well,
Is it a
guys,
nice dark finish?
Yeah.
This won't be dark. It'll be more of a brownish color finish.
Yeah.
It won't be dark.
More of a natural patina.
And
Guys, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say it'll work too. But I asked it to wash kitchen knives, and I've never had no issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
guys, we are approaching the 2-hour mark, and people have just about finished their trips as they're driving down the road, listening to us, coming back home from Christmas, or later on. Maybe it's a New Year's trip they're listening to this show, or even later. Maybe it's Christmas in July and they're listening to this show in July 2023. But one thing I want to do is give you guys the opportunity to wish the world Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Mark?
everybody. Hope you have a great holiday. Stay safe and have a great New Year.
Yeah, Mark, I think you're very comfortable in the show. I'm glad you're here, and I think you are our stand-in. Maybe we'll work you into a full-time position here in the future, but due to space limitations, be ready to come on the show at any time. Merry Christmas to you. I've really enjoyed meeting another Alabama brother and having you on the show with us. Don?
Hey, man, I just want to tell everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and have a blessed holiday with your family. And,
for sure.
If you're traveling, man, I just pray that you have a safe trip home.
Especially with this weather, yeah.
With the weather, yes.
Odysseer.
Feliz Natal y un próspero ano novo, meu amigo.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
I will tell you that it has been a blessed year. We started this last February, and when we hear our next podcast, it'll be 2023. It's been a very blessed year. Chris and Matthew are no longer on our show, but they were so important to helping us start it up. Still great knife makers and great friends out there. Having Eric and Joey and meeting new folks like Luke, who came on the show, became a Knives Templar, and then Don has just been key to the success here. Odysseer, you're the kind of guy, not all of you are that way, but Odysseer, if you live next door to me, our wives would get upset with us because we'd never spend any time with them. We'd all be playing in each other's shop. And Mark and everybody else that's been out on the Knives Templar podcast. In addition to that, all the knife makers out there that are submitting questions and subscribing to the show, please subscribe if you're listening now, is contributing to our success. Guys, just so you know that we have been giving our sponsorships away for free, that we pay to have this podcast on the air. We don't make any money in what we do. We just have something in common, and that's called the human condition. As we wind down this year, we realize that there's more important things in life than arguing over politics, religion, world affairs. It's really all about fellowship and camaraderie. What do we have in common? And how we can make the world a beautiful place and a better place, whether it be through our art, the things that we do in our communities, or the things that we reach out into the world. The Knives Templars has enabled me to become friends with people throughout Europe, in Asia, in South America, and throughout our country. And I'm very thankful to God, and I'm thankful to each and every one of you that listen to every one of these episodes. It's not about making money. This is about developing a community of friends that can reach out to each other, share, reinforce what we want to know that we're doing right, and to help us to grow stronger. And we do that on every episode of the Knives Templars. So check us out on the Knives Templars podcast Facebook page. Find us over at The Rivers Experience. Or just tune in every time and know that when you call in or you listen, you're listening to a guy just like you, a guy that's just out there having fun and enjoying life and expressing himself through his art and his abilities. So with that, the Knives Templars, we wish you a very, very, very Merry Christmas 2022. And we look forward to you being part of the family in 2023. With that, we're gone. Good night. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Goonie Goo-hoo.
Goonie Goo-hoo.
Goonie Goo-hoo. If you see my mama, tell her Goonie Goo-hoo.
Oh, man.
You don't remember Aunt Bunny? Aunt Bunny, she's a Bigfoot. She come over, took her fishing, and the kids, took them fishing, and went out there, they stuck their faces in the water, and they came out, and they looked at me, and they both had a fish in their mouth, and they took it out of their mouth, and they said, Goonie Goo-hoo, Aunt Bunny, I know what she is. She's a Bigfoot. Aunt Bunny's a Bigfoot. Y'all don't know that story? That's an old Eddie Murphy skit. That's where I got Goonie Goo-hoo from.
Oh, God.
Man, oh, man. Well, like I said, Eric is probably like the movie The Shining. He's probably like Jack Nicholson. He's frozen to the wall in his frozen shop right now with a hammer in his hand. And he's just got this crazed look on his face like, it's Shop Talk Tuesday and I can't record because I'm frozen to this wall. So anyway.
One thing about where Eric lives, it seems like it's hot in the summer and gets cold in the winter.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Texas. Everybody thinks Texas is, and parts are, super hot all the time. But the winters get really bad. That center of the U.S. The jet stream drops down, and when I was out there, we got ice storms, and there was some pretty bad. I mean, not South Dakota bad, but pretty bad winters for the southern U.S.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great, man. I enjoyed it.
It was awesome.
A little bit different, probably goofy. I'll throw some. We'll see what I can do with the Playhouse video and see if we want to do that train wreck again. But it was funny. I was so hoping that Otis here was going to get all bowed up and
bowed up.
Daddy, I gotta leave. I can't stay here in Laurel, Maryland. I gotta go out there. I gotta follow my dreams. I'm gonna flunk cars in Arizona, Daddy. Do what you gotta do, son.
Yeah.
Daddy, I have to follow my dreams. I have to move to California.
Bye.
How'd you like my ability to write a complete English sentence in that script?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Otis here get to one point, and it was like, that damn word doesn't make sense. You'd see him hold up, and then he'd just kind of read it, and I'm like, well, he sure sounded stupid at Mike's or at his expense because I wrote the sentence wrong. So that was fun. How cold is it in South Alabama, Mark?
I think it is. I don't know. It was like 20 degrees when we started, I think.
Well, that's not too bad. We got up to 12 here today. And it's supposed to, it got down to -1 or 1 something last night. But being a Michigan guy, it wasn't, it was kind of nice to feel the cold again. Hopefully it killed some viruses and some mosquitoes and all that other stuff.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Don said it got down to 50 degrees here. All the alligators and iguanas turned over.
Oh, man. It was 47 when I walked in the room here.
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be down to 25, 26
I could
today.
tell you were cold. I could tell you were cold.
It was 14 when I came home today. So.
Oh man,
you had goosebumps.
Oh, there's no way I could live
You know,
out there in cold weather.
Maryland is a very funny place when it comes to weather. You know, during
It
the
is.
year we have, pre-summer, summer, post-summer, pre-fall. You know, we have several seasons there, not only four. And when it comes to winter, man, it's every day is different. Yesterday
Yeah.
we were at 40. We rained all day. It rained all day yesterday into right around noon today. And as soon as the rain stopped, the wind started blowing and the
Yep.
temperatures dropped so
Yeah.
fast. It was, all the water that was on the street froze, all
Did
the
it dry?
puddles
It did
froze,
freeze. Yeah.
like out of in a matter of an hour. It was.
Yeah, that's what we saw over in Nashville and down here in Huntsville last night. Yeah. Are you from Florida, Don?
Yeah, I'm born and raised right here.
I got
Yes,
you. There you go. Well, good for you.
Yeah,
Good state to be from.
I'm a cracker. I'm a Florida cracker.
Florida cracker.
That's what
I thought
they
it was
call
Georgia
it.
cracker. I thought it was a Georgia cracker.
Georgia peach.
Okay.
Talking about Georgia, I'll be heading down that way on January 26th, I think.
Yeah.
My
Son's
son's
graduation.
graduation is gonna be on the 27th.
Excellent.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Gonna be walking around Fort Benning for a day.
Good for you, man. He's so impressive. Mark, you need to talk to the guys over at the USS Alabama and see if they'll let us set up and do a Knives Templars broadcast from the decks of the USS Alabama.
I can ask that. In fact, there's a retired general that's in charge of that I met when I was at that knife show or the building contest, and she's in charge of it. So I have to ask. It seems like they're pretty amenable to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we want to do a Knives Templars broadcast from the main deck of the not the officers' quarters, but the main deck where the wheel and all that is.
Any chance I could get a small piece of steel like that long? Yeah,
Well, that's what we
yay
want too.
wide.
We want some bearing. We also want some steering.
Just enough so I can make a guard.
Yeah, we also want some steel or bearing out of the Alabama while we're there. There's got to be something.
You're gonna be stripping that thing out.
So it's funny. So it's not steel, right? But I still on my bookshelf has my grandfather went to Italy, on some trip, and I have a piece of Colosseum that is on my bookshelf because he happened to walk by and might have had a piece fall in his pocket.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I'm sure everybody in Italy would like to know you walked out with an antiquity. So your grandfather did. So was it during the war?
No, I think it was. I think he was just on vacation. They were travelers.
Yeah.
They him and my grandmother like to travel around the world. So
I always collected a rock everywhere I went. I figured I can get in trouble for a rock. So like when I went to China, I grabbed a pebble and took a pebble back from China, and just little rocks from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
was that
anyway
from the wall?
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to say that I hope each of you have the best of Christmases. I hope our buddies that aren't on here aren't frozen to death. I hope that Luke didn't get into Grandma's eggnog and is in the toilet right now, trying to with his head stuck in the toilet. And no, Luke's a good boy. And you guys have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you guys as well on the next episode of the Templars. Night, y'all.
All right. Good night.
Merry Christmas, guys. Happy New Year.